Well, thankfully, last week went a little bit better on the pick front for me, if you will. I ended up going 11-5. It brings my 3 week total to 27-21. So, not a rousing start, but it seems like a lot of people out there are struggling with their picks. And at least I had a much better week of week number 3. Now we've got bye weeks, so we're more into the season. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in week number 4. Here it is, my picks for week number 4 of the 2014 NFL season. I'll start off with the Thursday night matchup. The Giants coming off of a victory over the Texans, going to Washington to take on the impressive yet 1-2 Washington Redskins. When you get to these divisional rivalries, a lot of times you could throw the records right out of the gate. You can sit there and take matchups and all of this and all of that, and you can throw it out the window. You really can. In terms of this, even though the Redskins gave up a lot to the Eagles offense last week, I have liked by and large how their defense has played for your first 3 weeks of the season. They really did a good job of containing LaShawn McCoy last week, which will be critically important going against Rashad Jennings, who had a monster game against the Texans in week number 3. For the Redskins, you look at Kirk Cousins, and he has come in and he has definitely done the job. He had a huge game against the Eagles, but again, that was against the Eagles. However, the Giants defense is not exactly a dominant force, needless to say. I think this matchup will come down to the quarterback position, believe it or not. Will Eli Manning, play well? Will Kirk Cousins continue to play well? Overall, I like the Redskins in this matchup. I think they showed me a lot in week number 3, and I tend to believe that they will right their ship a little bit and even things out and go 2-2 by beating the Giants on Thursday night. Now we go to the Sunday games and the afternoon games. And we'll start off with the Green Bay Packers traveling to Chicago to take on my Bears. The Packers are in trouble. There's no question about it. Their defense is not playing great. They're not terrible, but they're definitely not great. And they haven't made that many strides compared to last year. The bigger problem, though, for the Green Bay Packers right now is offensively. When you are an offense first team and your offense struggles and struggles mightily like they have through the first 3 weeks of the season, that lets you know that things are not going very well at all. Eddie Lacy has failed to do anything on the ground the first 3 weeks. Aaron Rodgers has clearly not looked like the Aaron Rodgers you would expect. And the perceived weapons on the outside haven't played that well either. The offensive line has struggled. It hasn't been good for the Green Bay Packers offensively. Not surprising why they're 1-2. Whereas the Chicago Bears, it's one of those things. It's better to be lucky than good sometimes, and they have benefited and received some good fortune due to the implosion of the San Francisco 49ers in week 2 on that Sunday night game. And then, Monday night against the Jets kind of imploded and pissed the game down their legs too. So the Bears find themselves at 2-1, but they have some questions. They have some issues. Injuries are going to start taking a toll. The lack of depth on this team will continue to show. And for all the talk about this explosive offense, and I will be the first to say that Cutler has played better by and large, and he has done a better job in general of taking care of the ball, he still had those moments where he's made some Cutler throws that the other team has failed to capitalize on. And the Bears' offense has not been nearly as explosive as was anticipated heading into this season. Ultimately, a lot of things would indicate that the Packers are not that good of a team and that the Bears should win this game, especially because of the fact that the Bears have just won 2 straight primetime games on the road. However, I have to point to history, and history indicates that the Bears just can't beat the Green Bay Packers. And frankly, until proven otherwise, Jay Cutler can't beat Aaron Rodgers. So, with that said, I think the Green Bay Packers will right their ship a little bit this week. They'll get a much better performance out of Eddie Lacy in the running game against that less than stellar Bears run defense. I anticipate the Bears will struggle to get consistent pressure on Aaron Rodgers, which means that his weapons on the outside will be able to stretch the Bears out horizontally and vertically. They'll be able to exploit their lack of depth in the secondary. And I expect the Green Bay Packers to right their ship a little bit and go to 2-2 by beating the Bears on Sunday. I'll pick the Colts over the Titans. The London game, I'll take Miami over Oakland, even though I wouldn't be surprised with Miami playing the way they are and seeming like they're ready to implode if Oakland did find a way to win this game. I'll take the Lions over the Jets in a matchup of two teams that love to shoot themselves in the foot and love to implode. Um, it's that simple. But I think the Lions are a more balanced team. They're just a better all around team, and that's why I'll take them. I'll take Pittsburgh over Tampa Bay. I'll take Baltimore over Carolina. I'll take Houston over Buffalo. Now, the late afternoon games, I'll take San Diego over Jacksonville. Was I really going to pick anybody different? I'll take Atlanta over Minnesota. And then you've got that featured late afternoon game of the Eagles taking on the 49ers. And this is a difficult game to pick because, on the one hand, I find myself saying, I just can't pick the 49ers to go 1-3. But based off of the way they're playing and the way they're shooting themselves in the foot, that's exactly what they could be after this game on Sunday. I look at the Eagles and I say the way they've won their first 3 games, at some point in time, that's got to catch up with them. At some point in time, their offense is not going to fire on all cylinders for any portion of the game, and their defense is just going to struggle and give up a shit ton of points. And fortunately for the Eagles in this matchup, the 49ers offense lacks explosiveness and lacks stellar play, needless to say, out of the quarterback position in Kaepernick. So it would seem like the Eagles are primed for a win here, especially because, in my opinion, they're a better road team than they are a home team. But I still got to stand behind the San Francisco 49ers at least for one more week. This is the team, after all, that I picked to represent the NFC in Super Bowl 49, and I know I'm not alone. This is a must-win game at home for the 49ers, and I think somehow, some way, they will find a way to get the job done. Now, looking at the Sunday night matchup, the Saints at 1-2 traveling to Dallas to take on the surprising 2-1 Cowboys. The Saints aren't a very good road team. But I also think that the Cowboys just aren't that very much of a good team either. Frankly, I don't think either one of these teams is all that particularly good, based off of what we've seen the first 3 weeks. You look at the fact that the Cowboys got pretty much dominated the opening week at home against San Francisco. Then in week 2, they beat a bad Titans team on the road. And then week 3, on the road again, they go down in a big way to the Rams, only to find a way to come back and win. This is typical Cowboys to me. Win a game that they shouldn't win, lose a game that they shouldn't lose. This is the type of stuff that they do. And looking at this, a lot of things might indicate that Dallas will do just fine and win here, but I don't think so. I think the Saints are going to play better, even though they didn't impress me all that much at week number 3, and I think there are some problems there. I still think the Cowboys are a mediocre team, and I'm not sure how they're going to match up with the Saints offense. So I'll take the Saints to beat the Cowboys on Sunday night. And then when it comes to the Monday night matchup, you've got the Patriots at a very unimpressive 2-1 taking on the 1-2 Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of a nice victory over the Dolphins on Sunday. The Chiefs might get Jamal Charles back in the fold, which will definitely help Alex Smith in that offense. Unfortunately, Alex Smith has pretty much nobody other than maybe Travis Kelce and Jamal Charles in the passing game to throw to. Still unbelievably reckless how the Kansas City Chiefs did nothing to improve their weapons on the outside. When it comes to the Patriots, though, their defense played very well last week, but let's keep in mind this was against the Oakland Raiders. Let's keep that in mind. Their offense has no rhythm. Tom Brady looks old. Their offensive line is bad. They have very little on the outside, and Gronkowski is still playing in a limited capacity. When I look at this matchup, though, I would anticipate that week 3 was a big wake-up call for the Patriots, and that week 4, they're going to be better, and I think eventually they are going to have to find a rhythm, you would think. So I'll take the Patriots over the Chiefs in the Monday night game. So those are my picks: Redskins, Packers, Colts, Dolphins, Lions, Steelers, Ravens, Texans, Chargers, Falcons, 49ers, Saints, and Patriots. Like I said, I went 11-5 last week. I'm curious to see how I do this week. You guys, again, are welcome to pick against me. Put your picks down below and keep track of this stuff. Let me know if I do better than you or you do better than me on the week or throughout the course of the entire season.